All right. Hello, everybody. It is 10:06 on the East Coast. It is a stormy ass night. We've got a big storm going over here. So if it's a little choppy, bear with me. Mother Nature is doing her big one. Hope everybody had a lovely week. Hope you accomplished all of your goals. Hope it was a vibe. We have a lot to get into tonight. It has been a long week. There's a lot going on. And really, I don't got much else to say other than, yeah, it's just, yeah. All right. Where to start? Let me take a moment here. Oh God. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a messy week. Oh man. So, yeah, okay. The first thing we're going to get into tonight. Yeah, the first thing we are going to get into tonight, for sure, I believe, is going to be Jasmine Crockett. Just going to get this out of the way. 1 second. Okay. First thing we are going to be getting into is Jasmine Crockett and James Tellerico. We are finally post primary. And to show you how things are going so far, we have some lovely discourse already tonight from James Tellerico attends Reverend Jesse Jackson's funeral, and people are being very normal about this. From what I understand, he was invited by I mean, yeah, there's a community note here that says Tellerico was invited by Reverend Jackson's son. So the discourse is very silly. It's pointless. But it does demonstrate how things have been going. how people have been moving post Texas Democrat primary. Now, I did a video a little bit ago where I talked about my personal feelings on Jasmine Crockett and how I was underwhelmed, to say the least, disappointed, I guess. Although disappointed, I feel like isn't the right word because I didn't really have expectations to begin with. But I just wasn't super pleased with where she had gone. And I'm still not pleased. And so she did, in fact, lose the primary. I'm not surprised because I don't think she ran a very good campaign. However, there's been a lot of people who are acting like Jasmine Crockett lost solely because she is a black woman. And as a black woman myself, I want to be very clear that I do think her being a black woman played a part in her losing. She's running for a Senate seat in Texas. Yes, I do think that played a part. It did probably contribute to her loss, but it was not the sole reason and it was not the main reason. But for some reason, a lot of people are acting like that is why she lost. And oh my god, I just don't know how we do this. It's very much Kamala all over again, which speaking of Kamala, she she spoke at Jesse Jackson's funeral and said some things, but that's a whole other topic. And you still have people talking about James Tellerico. And honestly, at the end of the day, there's a lot of people saying they're not going to vote for James Tellerico, right? And I don't think that's true. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that's true. I don't think these people are actually not going to vote for James Tellerico come election time. I think that I don't even know like this is I guess this is K Hive. Is this the K Hive people who are having a hard time right now? I just we gotta be able to recognize when people we gotta be able to recognize when people don't run a good campaign. We did it with Kamala and we're doing it again. And I don't want to do it again. I don't want to live through this again. So, yeah. Um I don't have much else to say on this other than we got to stop being weird. We got to stop being annoying. And at the end of the day, Jasmine Crockett did lose because she had a bad campaign. She did not focus on the policies. And she really, as much as I love her energy, as much as I want that energy directed towards more progressive things, towards issues that I'm more aligned with, it's not the only thing. You can't rely on it entirely to win the race, and that's what she did. She tried to vibe her way. She tried to vibe her way through it, and it didn't work. So I don't know. I obviously took issue with her comments about Israel and Palestine, specifically her praising of the beeper attack. I just insane to me. So she kind of lost me there. I don't know if there was ever any coming back from that one, but I'd like to see Jasmine Crockett make a pivot, sort of focus more on the policies that will help her constituents and campaigning on those, and maybe she can come back to the house at some point or do something. I don't know what her plan is, but I don't think running for the Senate was the best plan, was the best idea. I've heard there was possibly some fuckery going on in regards to making it seem like she actually had a chance when she didn't. I don't know all the details of that, but if that is the case, oof, that's rough. I just, I don't know. If I wanted to take the most cynical view of this, I would say that Jasmine Crockett is someone who kind of cares only about herself and only about her own status and that kind of thing. And I don't really think that she comes off as super genuine all the time. But that's more of an optics thing. But unfortunately, that matters when you're running a vibes based campaign. So I don't know. Yeah. Weird, rough time for Jasmine Crockett and the K Hive. Hopefully, people will calm down a little bit before November. Before the actual, hopefully people will calm down before the actual election, and maybe we'll see what happens. I don't know if James Tellerico actually even has a chance. It's Texas, so who fucking knows? But stuff like this, like being like, oh, he went to Jesse Jackson's funeral, is just very like, this is why he won. This is why he fucking won. I don't know what to tell you. This exact line of attack, of attempt at, causing discourse, this is why he won. I think I think Jasmine Crockett had too much sort of, negativity associated with her by the end of her campaign. On top of not focusing on her policies, on top of not being and not having the best policies, and on top of not having the best policies, it just, here we are. All right. Unfortunate. Sad to say. Hmm. Okay. Okay. What is this? Because I did want to take a look at this. Does anybody have a link to the actual paper? Hold on. Let's see if I can find something online. Uno momento. Okay, I found it. This was from September 5th. I don't know why. Don't know why it's coming up now. This is from September 5th. Why language models hallucinate. It's from OpenAI, from ChatGPT. At OpenAI, we're working to make AI systems more useful and reliable, even as language models become more capable. One challenge remains stubbornly hard to fully solve: hallucinations. Oh my god. By this we mean instances where a model confidently generates an answer that isn't true. I need like this is such a fucking problem because people use ChatGPT as a substitute for fucking Google, right? For fucking researching things. So when it's hallucinating and giving people false information and they're using that, what what the fuck? Um so I guess they did a research paper that argues that language models hallucinate because standard training and evaluation procedures reward guessing over acknowledging uncertainty. Interesting. Hallucinations are plausible but false statements generated by language models. They can show up in surprising ways, even for seemingly straightforward questions. For example, when we asked a widely used chatbot for the title of the PhD dissertation by Adam Tallman Calais, an author of this paper, it confidently produced 3 different answers, none of them correct. When we asked for his birthday, it gave 3 different answers. It gave 3 different dates, and likewise all wrong. I try to tell people this all the fucking time, that AI will just straight up give you wrong answers for simple ass things. And they act like I'm insane. Like they act like I'm the ridiculous one. I like I don't understand. I genuinely do kind of feel like I might be insane because people are so reliant on AI and ChatGPT and all this other shit for information now, and it will just straight up give you the wrong answer. I don't understand relying on something that will actively lie to you at times. Like what is the purpose? If you're not cross-referencing it with other sources, then what is the purpose? What is the point? I don't know. Like it does not make sense to me. Um Hallucinations persist partly because current evaluation methods set the wrong incentives. While evaluations themselves do not directly cause hallucinations, most evaluations measure model performance in a way that encourages guessing rather than honesty about uncertainty. That's so stupid. It's literally just saying that it would rather give you a wrong answer than tell you that it doesn't know. That's all it's saying. That the fucking AI would rather give you a wrong answer than tell you that it does not have an answer for you. Think about it like a multiple choice test. If they do not know the answer but take a wild guess, you might get lucky and be right. Great. So it's acting with the logic of a middle schooler. Like it's acting with logic I used in fucking middle school. Are you kidding me? Can we not do better than this? This thing, so it has the brain of a middle schooler. Like, that's what you're telling me. It has the brain of a 13-year-old child who does not know the answer to the test and is just going to take a wild guess and hope that it gets it right. But the problem is, it's not a multiple choice test. It's a fucking open answer test. In fact, it should be an open book test because the AI has access to sources that it pulls from. But even when it has those sources, it still is like, don't know the answer to that. And sometimes it should be able to get the answer to that, like somebody's birthday or something. But nope. Nope. So awesome that OpenAI is just admitting that AI just acts like a middle school child taking a test and does not know, when it does not know the answer, it just takes a wild guess. Cool. Leaving it blank guarantees a 0 in the same way when models are graded only on accuracy, a percentage of questions they get exactly right, they are encouraged to guess rather than say, I don't know. As another example, suppose a language model is asked for someone's birthday but doesn't know. If it guesses September 10th, it has a 1 in 365. I don't know why I said like that. Yeah, I don't know. Whoa, I just broke my brain. Am I AI? What the fuck just happened? If it guesses September 10th, it has a 1 in 365 chance of being right. Saying, I don't know, guarantees 0 points. Yeah, so again, literally just like, hopefully I will get it right. Oh, for questions where there is a single right answer, one can consider 3 categories of response: accurate responses, errors, and absentions. Sorry. Accurate responses, errors, and absentions. Where the model does not hazard a guess, abstaining is part of humility. What? One of OpenAI's core values? That's so weird. Wait, what? And it's got a link. Act with humility. Abstaining is part of humility. What? Okay. Like, we're talking about an AI here. Most scoreboards prioritize and rank models based on accuracy, but errors are worse than abstentions. Our model spec states that it is better to indicate uncertainty or ask for clarification than provide confident information that may be incorrect. Yeah. How hallucinations originate from next word prediction. Yeah. Interesting. Conclusions. We hope that the statistical lens in our paper clarifies the nature of hallucinations and pushes back on common misconceptions. Claim. Hallucinations will be eliminated by improving accuracy because a 100% accurate model never hallucinates. Finding. Accuracy will never reach 100% because regardless of model size, search, and reasoning capabilities, some real-world questions are inherently unanswerable. Okay. Okay. Claim hallucinations are inevitable. Finding they are not because language models can abstain when uncertain. They can, but for some reason they don't. Claim: avoiding hallucinations requires a degree of intelligence which is exclusively achievable with large models. Finding: it can be easier for a small model to know its limits. For example, when asked to answer a Maori question, a small model which knows no Maori can simply say "I don't know," whereas a model that knows some has to determine its confidence. As discussed in the paper, being calibrated requires much less computation than being accurate. Hallucinations are a mysterious glitch in modern language models. That was a claim. Finding: we understand the statistical mechanisms through which hallucinations arise and are rewarded in evaluation. Claim: to measure hallucinations, we just need a good hallucination eval. Finding: hallucination evals have been published, however, a good hallucination eval has little effect against hundreds of traditional accuracy based evals that penalize humility and reward guessing. Instead, all of the primary eval metrics need to be reworked to reward expressions of uncertainty. Our latest models have lower hallucination rates, and we continue to work hard to further decrease the rates of confident errors output by our language models. So I did see that they were perhaps, yeah. Um, so OpenAI launched a GPT 5.3 instant on Tuesday, making ChatGPT less preachy. The release acknowledges that its predecessor would sometimes refuse safe questions and lecture users rather than answer them. GPT 5.2 instance tone would begin responses with unsolicited phrases like, "First of all, you're not broken," or "Stop, take a breath," according to OpenAI's system card. Moreover, some users canceled their subscriptions over the patronizing behavior. Frustration circulated widely on Reddit, where one commentator sarcastically observed that no one has ever calmed down by being told to do so. Like, what what are you gaining, man? Like, what is actually being gained from engaging with AI with ChatGPT? Is anyone having a good time? It doesn't seem like you all are even having a good time. Oh my god. So, yeah, we'll see. Fewer hallucinations in web, better web results. Yeah, I don't really expect it to be much better, to be honest with you, but that's just me. I have low expectations for this stuff. I hate this stuff. And yeah, that's it. I'm going to move on now. I just wanted to talk about this a little bit cuz ugh. Also, fuck Sam Altman. Just going to say that there, just fuck Sam Altman. All my homies hate Sam Altman. Alrighty. Let's do this real quick before we move on. Kamala Harris spoke at Jesse Jackson's funeral or memorial, and she I guess she said some things here. She said some things. That's all I'm gonna say. She said some things. Let's hear what she had to say.
I predicted a lot about what's happening right now.
That damn laugh, bro. That damn laugh. Like, you are at a standing over his goddamn casket. All right. All right. No. All right. Let's take that back one more time. One more time for me, Kamala. Just want to really drive that home that you this is the moment you chose to do this.
Let me just say, I predicted a lot about what's happening right now. I'm not into saying I told you so, but we did see it coming.
How long do you think she's gonna do this? It's been a year already. literally, like standing over his casket. Like, there is a dead man right there. You are speaking at his funeral. uh Oh my god. No, she literally says it. She's like, I'm not saying I told you so, but I told you so.
But what I did not predict is that we would not have Jesse Jackson with us right now to help us get through this.
I I kind of think that's just a crazy out of pocket thing to say, but like, do you no longer have professionals to write your speeches? Is that what's happening? Did you have to write this on your own? And this is what you came up with? Oh, nice segue. Nice segue. Nice segue. Nice segue.
And this afternoon has been such a beautiful remembrance of his spirit, his life, and his faith. And in a way that Reverend Al talked about it and so many others have, I do think of this after.
Yeah, so that's the that's the majority of it, but oh my god. Um there's just something there's there are no words. There are actually no words because I want I want to say that this is just an insane thing to do, but it is a very Kamala thing to do. It's a very Kamala thing to do. To get up here and be like, "Hey, I kind of told you guys so," at a man's funeral with that damn laugh of hers.
Let me just say, I predicted a lot about what's happening right now.
Like, are you kidding me? Grown ass woman having to get up here and be like, "I told you so." Oh my god. Like, he deserves better. He deserves better. He deserves better. He straight up deserves better. I tuned in to like, one of the live streams of the funeral earlier for like a brief little bit of time. Um it and it was just there were some people there was like I think Tyler Perry was there. Uh it was just crazy because like the camera would be like scanning the audience and then it would like zoom in on like somebody. I think Gavin Newsom was there. It was like I was like, what the hell? I didn't see Kamala, but I guess she was off writing this banger of a speech. There is just like again, it is very much like I don't like is it like an ego thing? Like I don't know. Like what compels you to get up here at Jesse Jackson's funeral and say I think that being like I told you so in this situation is kind of silly and pointless to begin with. It's just going to make people feel pretty bitter and it's going to put more people off than not. Like I get the feeling, like I understand the sentiment, the desire to do so. Um but I do think there is a time and place. there is a there is a time where you can maybe, you know, get your licks in, but you gotta be careful with that shit. And I just don't know that this is the time and place. It's just crazy. It's crazy. Um yeah, how were the God, just I don't even I'm not even sure I want to look at these replies. Get in there, make it about you. For real though. Um Again, and also like yeah, a lot of this is just I mean you once again we have someone who ran a bad campaign and rather than own up to it, rather than just being like ran a bad campaign, you have to sit up here and be like, no, it's your fault for not voting for me. Like maybe you should have distanced yourself from Biden. Maybe you should have, I don't know, been more pro-Palestine, been more anti-Israel, anti-Zionist. Maybe you should have done anything other than what you did. Anything other than what you did. Like ultimately what you're saying is I knew this would happen and instead of changing my positions in order to gain more votes, I decided that I was going to die on these hills and say fuck it. We're all going down with the ship. Like is that what you want? Is that what you want your legacy to be? Is that who you want to be remembered as? Because I couldn't be me. Could not be me. Oh my god. So, anyway, I just thought this was very funny actually. Funny because kind of insane, ridiculous, wild that you thought this was a thing you should do. And also just like this is just an image. Like this is just a fucking image right here. This woman standing over a casket, Jesse Jackson's picture in the background, a whole ass fucking cross here, and she's sitting up here like, I told you so. I told you Trump was going to be awful and was going to get people killed and get people and like, torment our communities and be just the worst person ever. I told you. And it's like, do you think we didn't know? I also think it's just kind of I also think it just says a lot about you that you assume that the voters didn't know this was going to happen. Like, you assume the people who didn't vote for you because of, I don't know, Palestine or something, you assume those people aren't informed enough to know that this is where we were going to end up. When those people are definitely informed enough to know that this is where we were going to end up, but still have enough conviction to say that they can't vote for you because of certain positions. So very interesting. That damn laugh of hers, bro. That damn laugh. Ugh. Kamala memes used to be so fun, and now they're just like, it's like, just get this out of my face. Take this away from me. I don't want this anymore. All right. Let's get... I think that was the last thing I had on Twitter. Let me see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what she has to say at I'm excited to see her speech at Biden's for sure. I think that's going to be a crazy time. Oh man. All right. Oh, and Kim's and Candace. Charlie Kirk was the first casualty of the war in Iran. Never forget what they did to him. Candace, the woman that you are, truly. Truly. Don't let them ever stop your shine, girl. Oh man. Okay. Speaking of Candace. Hold on a second. I'll get this set up. Speaking of good old Candace. We do have more Candace, but actually, do I want to do the Kristi Noem stuff first and then Candace? Probably, right? Okay, hold on. I have to do some rearranging of my playlist. Let's do Kristi Noem first, actually. We got some Kristi Noem stuff. She got fired, which is not okay. I just want to be clear. Kristi Noem being fired, demoted, moved around, whatever the fuck. I don't think it's gonna have much of an effect. The guy who's replacing her, not really any better by any stretch of the imagination, perhaps even worse. But was it very funny to see the words Kristi Noem fired everywhere? Yes. Yes.
To get my congratulations
Hold on.
on.
Hold on, there we go. It was very funny. It made my day. And I hope that we get to see more people's names plastered everywhere saying that they were fired. So, yeah, Kristi Noem has been fired, but she had to, go before the committees and all that lovely shit. And this moment is probably the straw that broke the camel's back from what we have been hearing. Yeah, and I'm not really surprised that Kristi Noem has been, is kind of like has kind of become the scapegoat. I said early last year, uh, back when, I mean, I don't even know when. It was just very early on. You could tell who's going to be the scapegoat in Trump's administration, and it was always going to be Kash Patel and, like Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem, like minorities and women. Like that was it. It's never going to be someone like Pete Hegseth, like he's got all. It's never going to be someone like Pete Hegseth who has all sorts of bullshit happening with like leaking messages and that kind of thing. And he's never like put on the chopping block because he's a white man. It's just it's very simple. It's very obvious. I called it like a year ago, and I suspect this trend will continue. We will see more and more of, just certain people are going to be protected from the worst of it. Like even fucking like Tom Homan, who had his whole bribery thing, they just kind of shifted him out of the limelight. They didn't really do anything like crazy, they didn't do any like crazy like big like, oh, he's fired, he's like no longer in this position or whatever. It was just kind of like, oh, he's just no longer appearing in interviews and shit like that as often as he was. So anyway, we've got John Kennedy. I am going to speed this up because we have quite a few of these to get through. So we'll do, I don't know, 1.3, 1.25, 1.3 might be too fast, but it's usually what I watch on
the record. I believe you have a policy, Madam Secretary, that you have to approve all contracts at your department over $100 million.
No, sir. I have a policy in place that I review contracts. My deputy chiefs have the ability to review anything under $5 million. Above that, I evaluate and look at.
Okay. And you do that, I understand, to try to curb waste and abuse of taxpayer money. Is that right?
Yes, sir. In fact, it's been extremely effective. We've saved the taxpayers over $13.2 billion just by evaluating contracts, negotiating lower ones, and canceling ones that aren't necessary to do our duties.
How do you square that concern for waste, which I share, with the fact that you have spent $220 million running television advertisements that feature you prominently?
Sir, the president tasked me with getting the message out to the country and to other countries where we were seeing the invasion come from, with putting commercials out that told them that if they were in this country illegally, that they needed to leave, or we would detain them and remove them, and they'd not get the chance to come back to America the right way. That has been extremely effective.
Ask you to run these advertisements, is that right?
We had that conversation, yes, before I was put in this position and sworn in and confirmed, and since then as well.
Okay. Did you bid out those service contracts?
Yes, they did. They went out to a competitive bid, and career officials at the department chose.
So,
way.
The
That has been
president
extremely effective.
Ask you to run these advertisements, is that right?
We had that conversation, yes, before I was put in this position and sworn in and confirmed, and since then as well.
Okay. Did you
yeah, so she ends up like saying that Trump, knew about it basically, which is probably what got her in the hot seat. Yeah. She didn't take the fall. She didn't take the fall like she was supposed to, and she is suffering the consequences of that. But also, there's been talk about her being kind of like on the outs behind the scenes for a while, ever since they started getting pushback in Minnesota. I've been seeing reporting of her not being pleased, I guess, with the reaction and like how much heat she was getting for just carrying out Trump's orders.
who had formerly done your political work back in South Dakota. Is that right?
No, that's not correct, sir.
I think it is.
No, it's not, sir. The individuals who, I believe the careers who they chose were two different media firms. There's been conversation about their subcontractors, but we have no legal authority to look into subcontractors on work like that.
Okay. And you're saying that you're testifying that President Trump approved this ahead of time. Is that my understanding?
We had conversations about making sure that we were telling people.
No, ma'am. I'm asking you, sorry to interrupt, but the president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it
Did the
correctly,
president
worked
know
with
you were gonna do
OMB.
this?
Yes,
He did?
yes.
Okay.
And one thing, Senator, I think would be
Wrong answer, forehead. Uh-oh. Yikes. Yikes. You weren't supposed to say that. You weren't supposed to say that.
helpful to know is how effective that communications has been. That
Well, they were
overwhelmingly.
effective in your name recognition. I mean, I personally just, I mean, to me, it puts the president in a terribly awkward spot. And and I'm not saying you're not telling the truth. It's just hard for me to believe, knowing the president, as I do, that you said, Mr. President, here's some ads I've cut and I'm going to spend $220 million running them, that he would have agreed to that. I don't think Russ Vogt at OMB would have agreed to that. It's something we have to defend. I'm on the Appropriations Committee. My research shows that you did not bid them out, that you in fact, one of the people you picked, the strategy group, Safe America Media was a company formed 11 days before you picked them, and that the strategy group got most of the money, and the head of that is married to your former spokesperson. Look, we all have friends who are qualified. I'm not.
You said we all have friends who are qualified. You know, I've got some fuckery of my own going on, I'm sure, but I gotta act like this is a real problem for me. Not so slick there, buddy. Not so slick there. Ooh, careful.
Quibbling with that. It troubles me. A fifth to a quarter of $1 billion of taxpayer money when we're scratching for every penny and we're fighting over rescission packages. I just can't agree with Madam Secretary. Are you still running those ads?
No, Senator, I did not have anything to do with picking those contractors. I know politicals at the Department of Homeland Security did.
I understand. Are you
Their
still running
officials
those
followed the
ads?
competitive bid process for
Are you
that.
still running
Everything
those ads?
I think the ads are due to end here in March, I think within a week or
So
two.
they
I'm
are
not sure of
still
the end
running?
date. The one that is running is focusing on angel families. Have you seen that? It is the one that's talking about this is our why. This is why we work every day.
Okay.
It's for the angel
I've gotta
families and
move
their
on.
victims that need to.
After
President Trump has removed Kristi Noem as Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. Noem has spent the past 2 days on Capitol Hill as she has faced growing backlash over her job and handling of the Department of Homeland Security and particularly Operation Metro Surge in Minneapolis. The president announced she would be transitioning to a new position, given the title Special Envoy for the Shield of Americas, which will apparently head up a new security initiative focusing on the Western Hemisphere that the president will give more information.
Whatever the fuck that is. Like, okay. All right. Yeah, all right.
On this weekend, we should mention that Secretary Noem is delivering the keynote address at the Sergeant Benevolent Association Major Cities Conference. In a post on Truth Social, the president thanked Noem for her time leading DHS and announced he is nominating Oklahoma's Republican Senator Mark Wayne Mullen as the next DHS secretary. So let's bring back Nancy Cortez, CBS News chief White House correspondent. And Nancy, you were talking about this with Major, but let's go ahead and go into a little bit more detail here about really maybe what was the straw on the camel's back, and that was in one of the days of testimony, Republican Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana asking Noem, how do you square cuts to DHS and contracts with the fact that you have spent $220 million running TV advertisements that feature you prominently in it? Noem replied that the president tasked her with getting the message out to the country and putting commercials out. If they were in the country illegally, they needed to leave, and clearly that was something the president took issue with.
Right, because she went a step further, and when she was asked, well, did the president know that these ads were going to cost $200 million? She said, oh, absolutely, he knew. And that's what the president is now telling advisors and reporters is incorrect.
He's such a fucking baby, bro. Like, he really does just have, like a child's mentality when it comes to every single thing. Like, loyalty, like, just like his own personal public image, that kind of thing. It's just like, oh, nope. If you don't do it in a very specific way that he expects you to do it, you're fucked. And Kristi Noem, she fucked it up. She fucked it up. All she had to do was say, nope, all that shit's on me. I did it all. I did it all. It's all on me. That's all she had to do. She just completely take the blame. That's all she had to do. Oh, they're so stupid. They're so stupid. Oh my god. I cannot emphasize enough that if the Democrats gain power, if we have like a Democrat for our next president, we get the House, we get the Senate, whatever. Like if that happens, they have to they have to there have to be consequences. Like they cannot let these people just get away with all of this shit. There has to be some recourse here. Otherwise, you are literally just like sludge. You are slime. You are spineless, toothless, clawless slime. You are incapable of anything at that point. Like if we like perfect scenario, president, executive branch, legislative, all of it. All of it. And they still don't do shit. They still just say, "No, we can't go after anybody." Like actually useless. Which I suspect is what's going to happen. I don't think they're going to have a spine or anything like that, so be prepared.
Correct. He said he didn't know how expensive it was going to be. But I do think, Lindsay, that while that was the straw that broke the camel's back, I think you could get a sense from more broadly the reaction to Kristi Noem in those hearings from not just Democrats, but from some Republicans, that she was really on thin ice. The fact that Tom Tillis of North Carolina was basically yelling at her, telling her she's a terrible leader and that she shouldn't be a cabinet secretary. The fact that John Kennedy, who's a big ally of the president, was willing to question her that aggressively about this ad campaign in the first place, all of that is a sign that they believed that she was pretty vulnerable and that even perhaps they believed that the president was okay with them putting her on the spot because he wanted to see how she would respond.
So this was almost like a test. I mean, why was the Tom Tillis interaction so significant to you if he's kind of been on the outs with the president and, in fact, isn't even running for re-election?
Yeah, I think it was simply the fact that he stated so clearly and forcefully what Republicans have said behind the scenes, which is that he just doesn't think that she is capable of leading such an important agency at such a delicate time. He just came out and said it. He's been critical of the president before, but, he was practically yelling at her. And, and that wasn't the only controversy. There were also very aggressive questions put to Noem by Democrats, both in the Senate and then at a subsequent hearing in the House, about her relationship with Corey Lewandowski, who is kind of her right-hand man at the Department of Homeland Security, but who lots of signs point to her being in a romantic relationship with him.
Yeah, I saw some stuff about this. I don't know what the what the tea is here. But it is very funny to me that they're like asking her about her like romantic relationship as well. Like it very well may be relevant in some ways. I'm not familiar enough with the situation to comment, but it is very funny that like she's up here getting grilled by all these fucking people, Democrats, Republicans, all the whole shebang. And you even got people being like, so like, y'all fucking? Like, hello? Can you want to let us in? Like, you want to let us know? Very funny. Very stupid. Very silly. This is what they're doing with their time and their tax dollars. awesome. I like nothing really is gonna come of this stuff. Like other than now Kristi Noem having been, removed, which is not necessarily a small thing. I just don't think it's gonna have a super big effect. But aside from that, there's not much that's gonna come from this, I don't really think. So it is just like, I don't know. We're just kind of doing a show. We're doing a jig, putting on a play.
As well. And she was put on the spot about that. Corey Lewandowski, someone who has a long relationship with the president of the United States, was a major player in his first bid for the White House. And yet there have been questions about how appropriate it is that she is working with someone who is, for all intents and purposes, a subordinate who she may also be in a romantic relationship with. So it was kind of the combination of.
Like, none of these people actually give a fuck about that. Okay? Like, I need to make that very clear. You think you want me to believe that Republicans and even Democrats are up here being like, you shouldn't be dating your subordinate. That's really inappropriate. Like, is it inappropriate? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, do I care that much? I don't know. But in this scenario, in this case specifically, I don't know how much I care. Mostly just because I don't give a fuck about Kristi Noem and this guy. But yeah, you probably shouldn't be doing that. So it is just very it's very funny that they're just like, what's happening here? Is this a thing? Like, as far as the things that she's done, okay, it's gossipy, it's scandalous, I guess, but is it really like the thing to write home about at this point? Like, add it to the pile, I guess. I don't know.
All of that, and the clips of those questions at the hearing going viral.
Honestly, the man having an affair with Kristi should be fired. Complete lack of confidence in his decision making. No, exactly. If anything, it says more about him at this point too. Like, you saw notorious dog killer Kristi Noem and said, "Yeah, that's my type." Okay. Ooh, I don't know. This man may need to get his eyesight checked, may need to get his mental capacities checked, A whole physical from top to bottom. Let's see what's going on here.
That really hurt Noem, especially at a time when she was already under such scrutiny for the department's handling of the situation in Minneapolis, where 2 American citizens were killed.
CBS News Chief White House Correspondent Nancy Cortez, thank you so much. Let's bring in Capitol Hill correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns. So, Caitlin, you had some reporting this morning of some reaction from Senator Kennedy regarding that ad and his line of questioning with Noem at this hearing, and that he apparently had heard from the president. What can you tell us?
That's right. There was an extremely notable exchange during that Judiciary Committee hearing on Tuesday, where John Kennedy, a Republican conservative senator from Louisiana and a close ally of the president, pressed Noem on the agency's spending of over $200 million on television ads that prominently featured Noem. And he asked her whether those were effective in deterring illegal immigration and who approved the spending. And in that committee hearing, Noem, under oath, said that the president did. Now, after that, I spoke to Kennedy, and he told me that he was very upset about this kind of spending and had questions about whether the president had approved it in the first place. Fast forward to today, the president apparently called him, Kennedy said, after that hearing, and in Kennedy's telling, the two stories did not line up. Now, this is significant because as we've been talking about all of the kind of the lists of concerns that lawmakers up here have had.
No, you're right. They are both above the age of consent. That is, in fact, progress for this administration. So there is that. Yeah. So did Kristi Noem lie under oath? Is that what we're saying now? 'Cause arrest her. Do something. Do something. You know, I need that meme where they're like poking the ground and they're just like, do something. Oh man, I don't know, jump her.
About Noem, that exchange and the president paying attention to it seems, at least at this point, to be consequential. Now, I just was speaking with Tom Tillis, who's a Republican from North Carolina. You may remember him in that hearing. He was one of the first Republicans to call for Noem to resign. This is after Minneapolis. I just talked to him at length, and he said that her management was the issue here, that it's not personal, but that she showed that she could not handle this agency. I can also tell you that talking to lawmakers coming out of a lunch where they were just made aware of this news, they are very supportive, Republicans are.
Damn. The woman who decided to write in her own book about killing a dog because it wasn't trained well enough, and decided to write about killing a goat because it wasn't kept in a pen or kept away from her children, and then decided to dump them in a ditch in front of a construction crew. That woman might not have been the best choice to head the Department of Homeland Security. No. That doesn't make any sense.
Of their colleague, who now the president announced will head DHS, Mark Wayne Mullen, a Republican senator up here. He left that lunch in the middle of it, and he appeared to be on the phone. So this is significant because he will have strong Republican support up here. They just need a simple majority to approve that. But this is going to be another confirmation battle up here on Capitol Hill to lead the agency at a time where there is no agreement on funding for the agency. So a lot of layers here, but bottom line, that exchange earlier this week with a Republican senator was very consequential when you're looking at the timeline of all of this.
What else can you tell us about Mark Wayne Mullins of Oklahoma?
That's right. He's a Republican from Oklahoma, served in the House, serves now in the Senate. He is well liked by colleagues. He is a prolific presence on television. He is on air frequently as well, and a close ally of the president. Campaigned for him as well. You can see on your screen there. And he told our Alan Key earlier this morning.
All I know is he's the guy who almost got into a fight that one time. Which, while very funny, not exactly giving me the most confidence, you know? Not exactly setting me up for success here. If you can't even keep your cool enough to not, get mad at some Twitter posts. Because that's literally what that whole thing boiled down to. He saw homie posting online, and dude said some shit online, and he was like, hey, you want to square up? You want to square up now? You want to fight now? And dude's like, yeah, let's fight now. And then you have Bernie in the background being like, you're a senator. Sit down. Top tier comedy. Very messy, and not exactly my top pick. But also, I think we should just, I don't know. Maybe we move away from DHS entirely. It's not, maybe we don't give them funding ever again.
He was kind of tight-lipped about all of this. A lot of people we've been talking to up here were learning information as it was being reported out. He told our Alan He, our Senate producer up here, that earlier today that he had confidence in Noem as long as the president did. And that was kind of echoed by lawmakers we've been talking to, asking if they had confidence in Noem. And their line was, well, she serves at the pleasure of the president. So it is notable, that kind of line of phrasing. So that was starting to give us some clues as to, this will be in the president's court here.
I mean, look, this just happened, but have you heard any reaction yet on Capitol Hill?
I was just talking to a Democratic senator from Maryland. I asked her about whether this changes the dynamics in terms of funding for DHS, and she told me no, that they still have serious issues with the way that the president is running immigration enforcement, that the buck stops with him, not necessarily Noem. So that's what we're trying to report out now. Does this change the fight over DHS funding? Because remember, Democrats had said they're not going to support long-term funding for the agency unless reforms to ICE are put in place. Those negotiations are really at a standstill right now. And there was a thought that perhaps if Noem were ousted, that could change the dynamic. At least in the early reading, my early reading from talking to Democrats right now is that is not shifting the conversation. We'll see what happens as they respond to the appointment of, or the nomination, I should say, of Markwayne Mullin.
Caitlin Huberns, thank you so much.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being here today, Madam Secretary.
All right. Which one is this? Oh, okay. Yeah, they're doing some stuff here. She's gonna be like a bitch about it.
For a year, you maintained that no U.S. citizens have been arrested or detained by ICE or CBP. After hearings that I conducted in the Permanent Subcommittee on Investigation as the ranking member, you admitted finally in a letter written to me just last month that, in fact, U.S. citizens have been detained and arrested. I'm going to ask, Mr. Chairman, that that letter be entered into the record. Thank you. You put the number as 38. Far more American citizens have been arrested by ICE and CBP, probably in the hundreds, perhaps the thousands. Have you met with any of the American citizens who have been detained or arrested by your agency?
The individuals that may have been detained and arrested were individuals that could have been obstructing law enforcement operations
you haven't met
and
with
committing
them,
crimes
correct?
that way, and that we would have
I'd like
been
to
individuals
introduce you to
until their
three of
identity was
them.
confirmed.
Leo, Javier, and Marimar, would you please stand? These three individuals, Madam Secretary, were arrested by your agency, Leonardo Garcia Venegas, Javier Ramirez, and Marimar Martinez. Do you know what your agents did to Leo Venegas? I'll tell you. On May 21 of last year, they entered the private property at a house that he was constructing without consent, without a warrant, illegally. Again, on June 12th, they entered private property, a home where he was doing construction. He is a United States citizen, born in Florida. They seized him and ignored and disregarded his proof of citizenship. Wouldn't you agree with me that no U.S. citizen simply working lawfully should be arrested?
In law enforcement operations across the country, there are times when U.S.
It's a simple
citizens
yes or
may
no.
be arrested or detained until
Would
their
you agree
identity
with
is
me,
confirmed
Madam
and that they
Secretary,
haven't
that
committed a
U.S.
crime.
citizens should not be arrested when they are obeying the law, they have no criminal record, and they are engaged in a lawful activity?
Sir, in situations where law enforcement, regardless of the agency across the country, when there is probable cause.
God, they're so stupid. Like, just, yeah. Oh, man. Like, you can't even come up with a better response, like a better excuse, like a better, like, way to worm your way out of this. You're just like, shit happens. Shit happens. Sorry. Thanks. That's great. No, really appreciate that intelligent response there, friend.
Tell you about Javier Ramirez. Do you know what your agents did to Javier Ramirez? He was on his own private property when he was assaulted by masked agents, his own property, without a warrant, without consent. They said, get him. He's Mexican. He was violently slammed.
And if he had shot these motherfuckers, he'd be in trouble. Like, he'd be the one who gets the fucking shit kicked out of him by the law, you know? Like, if he had, exercised his Second Amendment right to fucking protect his property and his life and limb from these absolute fucking monsters, like, he'd be the one who would get in trouble. It's so fucking bullshit. And I'm not even, like, a huge gun person, a huge, stand your ground or whatever person. Like, that's not really my jam. But, like, if some motherfuckers, you do just gotta shoot. I don't know.
Into the ground while being handcuffed and taken into custody, despite telling officers that he is a United States citizen and even showing them his passport. And when he was asked what he was being arrested for, you know what they said? We don't know. Wouldn't you agree that targeting someone just because he is or looks like he is Mexican when he is a United States citizen is wrong.
Senator, we do not target people based on their race or ethnicity. We do targeted operations based on criminal background.
Bitch. It's not even. Yes, sure, of course. You guys are only going after criminals, right? That's why you abducted a like 5-year-old fucking boy. Yep. 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 No, it's fine.
Grounds and information that we have.
Madam Secretary, Javier was detained for over 4 days. He was denied medicine that he needed for severe diabetes. He lost consciousness. He had severe hypoglycemia. Wouldn't you agree with me that medical treatment should have been provided to him?
Senator,
denied.
Medical treatment is provided to individuals in our processing and detention centers. Within 12 hours, they have a medical examination. We get them the prescriptions and medication that they need. They also have a full evaluation.
Will you commit to take action and to look into why he was denied medical treatment?
Yes, I will look into that case specifically for you, Senator.
Marimar Martinez is with us today as well.
Well, now you won't.
She's standing right behind you. She was on her way to donate clothing at her church when she came across an unmarked car. The agents sideswiped her car. 3 masked agents in camouflage stormed out, and one of them pulled out his gun and fired at her moving vehicle, hitting her 5 times. She almost bled to death. Wouldn't you agree that shooting Miramar Martinez on her way to donate clothing at her church, a United States citizen from Chicago, is wrong?
Sir, I don't know the situation or the case. I'll look into it to ensure that all the procedures are followed properly.
Miramar, by the way, was falsely charged with impeding law enforcement, but the case actually fell apart. The judge dismissed it as being trumped up. He dismissed it with prejudice. And in fact, the agent who shot her, I'm not going to name him, but you know who he is, was quoted on social media the day or so afterward. And he said, quote, "I fired 5 rounds and she had 7 holes. Put that in your book, boys." And quote, "Cool, I'm up for another round of F around and find out."
Like, these guys are such, like, on top of being the most rapacious, vile scum of the earth, they're also just so lame. They're such losers. They're losers. Like, they are actual losers. They are losers who are finally getting a crumb of power to torment those weaker than them. And they can't fucking handle it. They're losing their goddamn minds. Fucking hell. Like, I'm sorry that you were bullied in middle school. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Really, truly. I hate that happened to you, but like, get over it. Goddamn.
Will you join me in condemning that agent?
Sir, that situation I don't know the details of, but I will look into that.
I don't know why you can't join me in saying it was wrong to shoot Miramar, almost cause her death, and then brag about it. Wouldn't you agree with me that it was wrong?
Well, sir, the way that you have portrayed it, it appears to be, but let me look into the case so I can speak to the specifics of it.
In fact, apparently, contrary to what you just said, you actually supported the agent who shot Ms. Martinez 5 times. He's quoted as saying, when he was asked, everyone has been supportive, including Chief Bovino, Chief Banks, Secretary Noem, and El Jefe himself, referring presumably to President Trump. Is the agent who shot Ms. Martinez still on the job?
Sir, our law enforcement officers conduct operations every day according to procedures and to training and the experience that they have. When there is something that is not done properly,
Ms. Martinez still on the job carrying a gun?
I don't know the details. I will find out and get that information to you.
Would you agree with me that he shouldn't be on the job carrying a gun?
I will look into this case and get back to you on the details. I'm not familiar with it.
I think Americans would find it absolutely terrifying that that agent is still on the job carrying a gun. And the fact that you can't tell me that you will take him off?
Sir, do you know who Angel Samanago is? Do you recognize that name?
Oh, she's pulling the Pam Bondi method. Oh my god, does she have a burn book too? Did she have a burn book too? With like all their names in it so she can bring up specific incidences from their districts, from their like home states to be like, do you know who this specific person who was murdered in like one town that you've never been to in your state? Do you know this person? Do you know this person? How dare you not know this person? How dare you? Is this going to be like their go-to method for all of these things? Is just going to be like, no, but you. I like, is that it? Is that all you got? It's just, what about you? What about this thing that's vaguely related to you in your home state, in your district? What about you? Not quite on par with Pam Bondi calling a Jewish woman who lost her her grandparents in the Holocaust um anti-Semitic. Not quite there yet, but goddamn, awesome. She's not as aggressive with it as Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi would have whipped this out minutes ago.
This is
I
an
think we're
individual
talking about
that was
an
murdered
egregious
in your
illegality
state
here,
by an
a
illegal
violation
alien,
of rights and trust.
duct taped.
The answers are
It looked
very
like it was
simple,
an assassination.
And I would have hoped
haven't
that
heard you say
you
one
could give
victim's
better
name
answers today
from illegal
to these
immigrants
three
that are here
individuals.
perpetuating
Would you like
violence
to say
against
anything
people.
to Ms. Miramar,
I'd
Ms.
like to hear you
Ramirez,
say the
or
name
Mr.
of one of our victims
Venegas?
of illegal criminal activity and fight for one of those victims so that we can stop as many of them from being created in the future by people who should never be in this country to begin with. Illegal
Well,
individuals and
charges
aliens that are
against
in this country.
Ms. Martinez were dismissed with prejudice. Let me ask you about a memo that evidently was written by the acting director of ICE. This memo, have you seen it?
I can't tell what it says. I see lots of memos. I see
Well, this memo
many a
is
day.
by acting director Todd Lyons. It's been frequently referenced in the hearing that I conducted by the whistleblower who testified, Brian Schwank, as being the basis for instructing ICE agents. It specifically says that ICE agents should violate the Fourth Amendment and break into people's homes without a judicial warrant. Do you agree with it?
I will look at that memo, sir. I can't read it from here, but if it's referencing administrative warrants, that is the proper legal tool that this body has given us to utilize on immigration enforcement operations. Those administrative warrants were provided and affirmed by the Supreme
ask you
Court,
one last
and we'll
question.
continue to use those.
Madam Secretary, does Corey Lewandowski have a role in approving contracts? And if so, what is that role?
His role as a special government employee, and special government employees work for the White House and the administration. There's thousands of them.
Could you tell us about the president's current thinking about ground troops and whether they could be used if they were to be sent into Iran?
Oh man. Anyway, was that all of the not Pam Bondi, Kristi Dome? Is that all of it? Just there more? I think there's some more, but maybe not. No, there is. But we'll watch. We'll see what Caroline has to say. She's got some stuff to say about Iran for us. I haven't actually watched any of the press briefings in a while, so I haven't seen Caroline in a minute. It's been so long. I've missed her, you know? I could do a fit check, but I don't know if it's totally fair. She's pregnant now, isn't she? So I feel like her fits are not going to be as on point as they might have once been. But I don't hate this top. I guess it's all right. Her hair looks nice. She doesn't quite have that pregnancy glow yet, but she's getting there.
What would they be used for?
Well, they're not part of the plan for this operation at this time, but I certainly will never take away military options on behalf of the President of the United States or the Commander-in-Chief, and he wisely does not do the same for himself. I know there's many leaders in the past who like to take options off of the table without...
She's talking about ground troops in Iran, by the way. Like, that's what she's saying she doesn't want to take off the table, is, like, troops in Iran, which... I think there's some stuff going on, like, literally as we speak, like, things are happening. But I'm not entirely sure, so I'm not gonna like delve into that. But they're, eyes on the news, everybody. Goddamn.
Having a full understanding of how things could develop. So again, it's not part of the current plan, but I'm not going to remove an option for the president that is on the table.
Support journalism you trust.
That's crazy, Caroline. That's crazy. That's crazy.
No one from the administration has laid out the imminent threat that was supposed to be taken care of by this. And the rationales offered by, say, Secretary Rubio, the president's national security advisor, said that the threat was retaliation against American interests from Iran after Israeli strikes. The president says it was his own feeling that Iran was going to attack. Why is it that across the administration you can't say what the imminent threat against the United States was that required us to launch this?
Because there wasn't one. Because they made it up. They made it up. It doesn't exist. Yeah. Like, that's it. That's straight up it. Like, I don't... it's a figment of their imagination at best, At best, they hallucinated it. At worst, they made it up. I think they made it up. I know they made it up.
And also, Prime Minister Starmer told Parliament today that his reason that he didn't allow the use of British bases was that he was not satisfied that there was a lawful basis and a viable, thought-through plan. Was there an attempt to provide the UK government with a legal basis for these strikes and a viable, thought-through plan?
To the first question, I completely reject the premise of your question. You have had the President of the United States, the Secretary of War, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, the Vice President of the United States, the Secretary of State, and now I am out here today to explain to you exactly what led the President to make the decision to launch Operation Epic Fury. And President Trump does not make these decisions in a vacuum. This decision to launch this operation was based on a cumulative...
Operation Epic Fury. Like, it sounds like a name from like a bad B-movie action movie from the 80s, man. That's losers.
Effect of various direct threats that Iran posed to the United States of America, and the president's feeling based on fact that Iran does pose an imminent and direct threat to the United States of America, based on the fact that they are the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism, based on the fact that they were rapidly and aggressively...
Bitch, we are the leading state sponsor of terrorism, okay? Fuck it. Like, at this point, fuck it. We are the leading state sponsor of terrorism, not Iran. I don't even know what the fuck to say to you at this point. No, just no. Like, let's go band for band. Let's go bar for bar. I'm telling you, which one of us is going to come out on top as far as terrorized the world over? America.
Building up their ballistic missile program to give themselves immunity within their country alongside their navy, so that inside their country they could continue to create nuclear weapons and nuclear bombs, which would of course pose a risk to Americans in the region and even Americans one day here at home. And then another point on this is the president found that through these extensive, exhaustive, failed negotiations with Iran, that they were hell-bent on death and destruction. So again, the president was not going to be just another president on a very long list who sat back and stood by and passed the buck of this direct threat to the next administration. The president had a feeling, again, based on fact, that Iran was going to strike the United States, was going to strike our assets in the region, and he made a determination to launch Operation Epic Fury based on all of those reasons. And I would like the media to actually report on all of them, rather than just picking sound bites from one person in this administration and saying, oh, they're contradicting the other person. No, again, these decisions are not made in a vacuum. They are made...
Okay, but like, if you are contradicting each other, maybe you should get on the same page? Like a competent administration would? Nah. Just a suggestion.
By the president's feeling that Iran was going to strike the United States and our assets in the region, and he was not going to sit back and watch that happen. The determination was made that the president was going to strike first alongside Israel, and that has obviously been proven to be the right decision and an effective one at that.
Support journalism you trust. Support PBS News.
Has it been? Has it been, though? Has it really been? I don't know about that.
I would recommend you fund the Department of Homeland Security. It tells the whole world that the Democrat Party has their priorities screwed up because they won't fund their own homeland. They won't defend where they live, where their families live, where Americans live. They're choosing to risk the homeland for a political point. And so I would ask that you would vote to fund this department so we can have all of our assets on the field and make sure that we're defending and protecting this country.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Yield back.
Support journalism you trust. Support PBS News. Donate now, or even better.
I mean, no. Like, literally no. You guys suck. You guys suck. You're bad at your jobs. You aren't even, like, your jobs are, like, bad. Like, you're bad at your jobs, and your job is bad. So, no. No. I think the answer should be no.
Let me ask you some questions of law if you can't handle the facts. Very simple questions of law, not trick questions. Is it lawful for federal agents to shoot and kill a person for engaging in peaceful protest and nothing else? That's a yes or no question.
Each instances in peaceful protest, no, it's not.
Okay, good. Is it lawful for federal agents to shoot and kill a person for filming them on a public street? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Is it lawful for federal agents to shoot and kill a person just because that person is lawfully carrying a holstered firearm under the Second Amendment in state law?
No.
And finally, yes or no, is it lawful for federal agents to shoot an innocent person or even a criminal suspect just for driving away from them, according to the Supreme Court?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you got the law right, and I hope you would rethink what you said about two good, honest, faithful American citizens and what that means to their families when you say that as Secretary of Homeland Security. And your ICE guy has already retracted that, and you should retract it too.
She doesn't care. She does not care about how their families feel. Like, we gotta stop trying to pretend that literal fucking fascists are going to be swayed by appeals to the heart, you know? Like, oh, look at how you're making these people feel. Like, this is a fascist. This is a fucking fascist.
Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Support journalism you trust. Support PBS.
I've only got about a minute left, but there was a memo about whether you need an administrative warrant or a judicial warrant to enter into residences. And, you know, I'm a strong proponent of the Fourth Amendment, and I think it would be helpful if we stuck to that. I know there are exigent circumstances sometimes where you're in pursuit or something of somebody, but I think for entering a residence or private property, it would be helpful to have judicial warrants. I'll give you 30 seconds to give us your opinion on that.
Well, I would tell you that all of our officers and at the department, we follow the Constitution and respect the amendments. The Fourth Amendment is incredibly important. In the 400,000 different instances where we've detained someone under administrative warrant, only 28 of those have been used to go into a home. So it's very rare, not very often. It is legal, it is justified, and it is the tool that you have given us as a body and that the Supreme Court has confirmed. So we do use it, but it's very rare when we do.
All right. With that, I yield back to the chairman.
Support journalism you trust.
Okay, well, they're literally not, like, they're different things, though. Like, they're different things. They're just different.
Yesterday, under questioning the Senate, you said you plan to refurbish this jet to make it into this kind of airplane, which is what's actually being used for deportations in order to save the taxpayers' money. In other words, you're saying that's actually a deportation plane. But wouldn't it have been cheaper just to buy a deportation plane in the first place? It's like buying a Rolls Royce to turn into a Metro bus. I was almost prepared to buy that story of how the jet was both.
God, this is so like, this is a very, like, I don't give a fuck, because it's like, maybe we just don't need a deportation plane to begin with. Maybe we skip that part entirely, you know? Can we try that?
For executive travel and mass deportation. And then I heard about an airborne episode of entitlement, arrogance, and contempt that I could hardly believe. Apparently, when your special blanket, your blankie, was left on one of the government jets and not transported over the new one, your special government employee, Corey Lewandowski, chivalrously stepped forward to fire the pilot midair, a 2003 Coast Guard Academy graduate and distinguished U.S. Coast Guard commander in Air Station, Washington, D.C. But then he had to be rehired immediately.
Wait. So, recap. He is saying that I guess she had a blankie that was left on the plane. And this guy stepped up. This guy, who I'm pretty sure is the one that she's supposedly hooking up with, stepped up and fired this guy, who they then had to rehire because I guess there was no one else who could do the job. Okay. You know what? Listen. You know what? Kind of romantic in like a weird, shitty political relationship workplace kind of way, you know? Like in a dysfunctional, we're really fucked up. Like it's the kind of thing I would expect to see on an episode of Succession or something. Does that make sense?
Because there was no one else who could fly the two of you on the rest of the journey back home. Secretary Noem, you're flying high now, maybe even a little bit too close to the sun. But with all these free planes and houses and pilots, you've traveled a long distance from your actual job and the things you should be doing as head of Homeland Security.
Support journalism you trust. Support PBS News.
Oh, man. All right.
Look.
Oh, Chuck. What do you got for me, boy? Nothing good. Look at this tie. Look at this fucking tie. Man. Schumer says Americans do not want an endless war after U.S. strikes in Iran. Something tells me that you actually don't mind it that much, though, Chuck.
America, the American people do not want an endless war. The administration doesn't seem to know what it's doing. Every hour there's a different rationale as to why we're doing this. And America wants this president to pay attention to the problems at home, not the problems overseas, particularly when no one has any idea of what the real rationale is. It changes every hour.
DHS talks.
Support
Yeah. Good enough, I guess.
I have a couple updates for you.
All right. So this was Rubio's, hold on. This was Rubio's briefing, I guess, and he was talking about the attacks on Iran and everything, and honestly, yeah. I don't know what to say. We are fucking ridiculous. We are the worst. We are the worst. We do not contribute in a positive way that outdoes our negativity to this world. We are just awful, and I genuinely can't believe I had to see fucking Trump get up and try and appeal to the Iranian people to be like, hey, rise up and take over your government. Like, are you serious? Like, this is a real thing we're doing. This is a real avenue we are attempting here. Like, okay, nope, yeah.
Department is now actively, as it has been now for the last 72 hours, implementing our plans to help Americans in the Middle East be able to depart. As of a few minutes ago before I left, 9,000 Americans have been able to leave the region since the start of this war. We have about 1,500 Americans that are requesting assistance with departure. We have identified and continue to...
And, like, we're just at war with Iran. Like, they keep trying to act like we're not, but we are. Like, this is a war. You have started a war. Congratulations.
Identify charter flights, military flight options, and expanded commercial flight options, meaning working with the airlines to send bigger airplanes with more seats, and the combination of those three things. The impediment we're facing now, in many cases, we've had a couple instances in which we have planes in the air and on the way, and unfortunately the airspace gets closed and they have to turn back around, so we're working through those challenges. Here's the message I want to deliver Americans who are in the Middle East and in need of assistance. It is very important. I ask this of the networks as well. It is important for you to please put both the website and the phone numbers on your screens, because we need people. We need to know where you are. We need to have contact information for Americans that need assistance. They have to register with us, because as these options begin to open up, and as they open up, we have to be able to call you. We have to be able to reach you. We have to be able to know where you're staying, so we can get this information to you and coordinate appropriately. And it'll be a variety of methods: charter flights, military flights and transports, expanded commercial opportunities, and in some cases land routes that will allow them to go to neighboring countries who might have over there. Let's please publicize, but we need you to please the lab adjacent to the Chancellery personnel from our diplomatic facilities, as well as in fortunate, obviously, but our embassies and our Department of War. Suffice it to say that our objectives remain as they've been identified from the beginning and by the President laid out clearly yesterday. Iran can never have a nuclear weapon, and we will now not allow Iran to hide behind the immunity of a massive short-term ballistic missile inventory or the ability to make them or launch them. And so CENTCOM, in a joint operations, is carrying out a systematic destruction of their missile belt, destruction of their launchers, and destruction of their ability to make these, as well as the destruction of their Navy. From what I've been told by the Department of War, everything is on or ahead of schedule and proceeding on these objectives. We have every confidence in the world that these objectives will be achieved. The last point I would make is, and I said this yesterday and I repeat, what's about to, you're about to see, we're going to unleash Chang on these people in the next few hours and days. You're going to really begin to perceive a change in the scope and in the intensity of these attacks as, frankly, the two most powerful air forces in the world take apart this terroristic...
We're gonna unleash what? Chang? I have no idea what that means.
We're going to unleash Chang on these people in the next...
Am I stupid? What does that mean? Okay, I'm gonna just assume I'm stupid. Move on.
Few hours and days, you're going to really begin to perceive a change in the scope and in the intensity of these attacks as, frankly, the two most powerful air forces in the world take apart this terroristic regime and defang it and take away its ability to threaten its neighbors or hide behind a zone of immunity that allows them to develop their nuclear ambitions. This terroristic, radical, cleric-led regime cannot be ever allowed to have nuclear weapons. We saw what they were willing to do to their own people. They were willing to slaughter their own people in the streets. Imagine what they would do to us. Imagine what they would do to others. Under President Trump, that will never, ever happen. All right?
Yesterday you talked about Israel. Mr. Secretary.
Please, guys, I can't hear them all. Yes.
Yesterday, you told us that Israel was going to strike Iran, and that's why we needed to get involved. Today, the president said that Iran was going to get...
Yeah, your statement is false. So that's not what I was asked very specifically. Were you there yesterday?
Yes, I asked.
Okay. No, were you the one that... Because somebody asked me a question yesterday. Did we go in because of Israel? And I said, you asked me that follow-up. And I said, no. I told you this had to happen anyway. The president made a decision, and the decision he made was that Iran was not going to be allowed to hide behind its ballistic missile program, that Iran was not going to be allowed to hide behind its ability to conduct these attacks. That decision had been made. The president systematically made a decision to systematically destroy this terroristic capability that they had, and we carried that out. I was very clear in that answer. This was a question of timing, of why this had to happen as a joint operation, not the question of the intent. Once the president made a decision that negotiations were not going to work, that they were playing us on the negotiations, and that this was a threat that was untenable, the decision was made to strike them. That's what I said yesterday, and you guys need to play it. And if you're going to play these...
All right, man. Whatever you say. Sure. Sure. It definitely wasn't because of Israel. Sure. No, I believe you. I believe you. I believe you, Marco.
Statements. You need to play the whole statement, not clip it to reach a narrative that you want to do, all right?
I love when we have actual politicians going like, don't clip me. Like, I know, like, clipping is, like, it predates, like, live streaming and that kind of thing, but it's so very funny that we have, like, clip culture, and, like, you still have, like, politicians who are saying shit like, don't clip me in, like, a regular way, right? But, like, it's just, like, added on with a whole new layer now, and then, like, the more they, like, lean into online shit anyways, it's just, like, oh, yep. Yeah.
Go ahead.
What do you make of the war powers resolution that's being considered here in Congress?
I mean, Congress votes on those. They can if they want. There's mechanisms for it. We've complied with the War Powers Act, even though we believe it's unconstitutional, as has every other administration. Every other president has found the War Powers Act to be unconstitutional. Nonetheless, we notified the Gang of Eight, which is an appropriate mechanism by which to notify Congress. We sent a notification within 48 hours, the way the law requires. I'm here today to have, I don't know, my 6th or 7th briefing before the entirety of the House and Senate, which is far more than I ever got from any administration in the time that I was here, certainly when I was a member of the Gang of Eight. And so we've complied with all, we've over-complied with the law and what it requires. This is an action by the president to address a real threat, a real threat. This is hostilities designed to eliminate a threat to the safety and the security of the United States and to our allies.
Like, you keep slipping that "and to our allies" part in there, and I really think it's more about our allies than it is about us. Not saying that America does not have interests in the region, of course it does, but I do think that, you know, a specific ally has a lot of influence here, has a lot of sway here, and rather than focus on that ally, you're trying to distract from that point. I wonder why.
Was there a plan in place to evacuate Americans before the attack took place?
Well, that's the plan we're trying to carry out. The problem is, or the challenge we are facing, is airspace closures. If a country closes their airport, for example, in some cases the airports have been hit. So the airport in Kuwait was hit. So if an airport's been attacked or the airspace is closed, then we can have the planes lined up to go, but we can't get them to land because we don't have the permissions to land there. So that's the challenge. But rest assured, we are confident that we are going to be able to assist every American. As I told you right now, we have about a little over 1,500, maybe closer to 1,600 Americans requesting assistance, and we know that we're going to be able to help them. It's going to take a little time because we don't control the airspace closures. That said, there may be more people out there that need help. We need to know who you are. So please, I'm asking the media, publicize the phone numbers and the website because we need people to call in so we have their name, we have their contact information, we have their location and their request. So as these opportunities begin to open up, we can act very quickly to reach them and get them out of harm's way.
I want to just clarify what you said. I want to clarify what you said because you said
there's nothing to clarify.
But you said I would get them.
No, but you have to read, if you're going to read the whole statement.
Your quote is about we knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that would precipitate an attack.
Yeah, no, I understand. But listen, all right, let me understand. But I had a very specific question from that gentleman, right?
The president said.
Hold on 1 second. I asked okay, but let me answer because this is my press conference. Okay. You asked me, I was asked a very specific question, so you guys can misrepresent it, but I was asked a very specific question yesterday. The bottom line is this.
He said, this is my press conference. Let me answer, please. You're being really rude right now. And I don't like it.
The president determined we were not going to get hit first. It's that simple, guys. We are not going to put Americans' troops in harm's way. If you tell the president of the United States that if we don't go first...
Isn't that literally what you're doing, though? Didn't you literally put troops in harm's way? Like, I mean, you know, kind of seems like you did that anyways, but what do I fucking know?
We're going to have more people killed and more people injured. The president's going to go first. That's what he did. That's what the president will always do. He will always put the safety and security of our men and women in uniform and of all Americans before anything else. He's always going to do that, and that's what he did here. In addition to that, I would argue that this threat from Iran, they are hiding behind these missiles and hiding behind these drones. They wanted to reach a point where you couldn't touch them, and then they could do whatever the hell they wanted with their nuclear program. And there was no way in the world that this terroristic regime was going to get nuclear weapons, not under Donald Trump's watch.
So the U.S. attack has nothing to do with Israel. It has nothing to do with Israel. This operation, there's a general question of why the president gave the green light, and then there's a question of why did it have to happen this weekend? Are you saying it had to happen this weekend because of that Israeli action?
No, this weekend presented a unique opportunity to take joint action against this threat. And we wanted this to have maximum success. We want this operation to be successful at achieving its objectives. I'll repeat the objectives. The president laid them out yesterday. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It cannot have, and therefore it cannot have the things it was hiding behind to have a nuclear weapons program. What are those things?
God, okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna let him finish this because he's just gonna yap. I am just gonna say this, and then I do have to dip out. But I think it's so obviously it's American, imperialism and all that shit. But it is just so incredible. And I say this in the worst way. Like, it's just like, it's incredible in that I cannot believe it. I cannot fathom it. I cannot wrap my head around it. The way America just gets to, like, say, oh, Iran doesn't get to have a nuclear weapon. Like, that is a sovereign country that gets to make its own decisions and do its own thing. And it's just, like, it is just genuinely, it's something that, it was the same shit with, like, even, like, smaller things, like forcing China to, like, sell TikTok, right? It's just like if any other country in the world tried to tell America or tried to tell, like, an American company that it had to, like, sell, it's like they had to sell to, like, operate or whatever, it would be like it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't work. It would be like the biggest insult ever. And I just oh god, it is truly ridiculous. It's truly again, it's just imperialism. It is just this chauvinistic, paternalistic, like, controlling of other countries. And the audacity, truly the audacity. It genuinely disgusts me, because I just think that we have no fucking right. Like, I think that we genuinely should not be getting involved in other countries short of, like, genocide, you know, like things like that, like actual, it's like war crimes, like horror, like atrocities, horrific things occurring. Like, yeah, like sure. Then I do think that, you know, if other countries need to step in, they should do that, etc. Like, I don't think we should sit by while a genocide occurs. That's ridiculous. But going into Venezuela and kidnapping Maduro, telling countries like, oh, you can't have nuclear weapons because, you know, you can't be trusted with nuclear weapons. Like, what the fuck is that? Who the fuck are you? Like, and just the general sort of obvious assumptions that come along with like stereotyping an entire sort of like group of people to be like, you can't be trusted with a weapon of this sort, and just things that have been said by people far smarter and far more articulate than I am, but just very frustrating and very infuriating in general. I do just think we are truly the scourge of the earth. We are just a just a just yeah, just we are just a scar on this planet. I don't know what else to say. I wish we weren't. I wish we weren't. I wish we used our power for good, you know? Did good things, but alas, this is where we're at. All right. Rant over. Fuck Marco Rubio. Fuck this country, and hopefully we can make some moves here and get some different things happening in this fucking bullshit country of ours, because I can't do this. I can't do this. I've got like, you know, if everything goes my way, I've got like 60 more years left on this planet, you know, barring unforeseen circumstances, bad luck, that kind of thing. And I can't keep doing this. I can't. Something's got to give. We got to make a change here. This isn't going to work, right? So anyway, fuck America, and just that just came out, but that's real. It's a real one that time. Not having a good time. Oh fuck. There was a tornado in my state. Don't think that was anywhere in. That might have been near me. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think so. Not like close enough, but sorry. ADHD just kicked in there. Holy fuck. Oh my god. All right. I have to dip out. It's late here. I gotta take care of some things, but thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. If you could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, all that lovely stuff. I haven't gotten a video out in a minute, but I'm working on some stuff, and that's really all I have for you. So be patient. I'll be back Sunday for sure. Maybe tomorrow, but definitely Sunday for sure. And we will see as things are continuing in Iran, and we will see how things keep going over there. Yeah, we'll just see how America continues to fuck shit up and be a genuine displeasure in this world. So awesome. But I'll be back. And other than that, enjoy your Saturday, enjoy your weekend, and I will see you Sunday. So